Welcome back, everyone, to the Barely News. I'm your host here, as always, Alexis, and I am joined here by a blockbuster panel to review the new blockbuster film. I am joined here primarily by Kyle Lira, the host of Red Spotlight Entertainment, which we just did a marvelous podcast. I didn't say marvelous, but it was a DC-ish podcast.
Very funny.
So make sure to catch that podcast where we go really in depth into all of the Batman v Superman stuff. Also here with Peter Martinez, you know him. Alexis Moreno is our special guest today. Super DC fan. No shade there, right?
I know.
So we're blessed to have you here with us. It's always nice when we have a 4-person panel, which is so rare these days. But thank you for being here. And
as female to this sausage
exactly. And we're having a spoiler review for Batman v Superman, which is one of the event movies this year. So as I've just said, people, it's all spoilers. Okay, so we're gonna get right into it.
Spoilers.
Let's just start with the good right now, because I know we're kind of all dead. Okay, let's start with Alexis. I want to get it from you first. What was just positive? Let's start with Batflick, right? Let's start with him. Okay, why was he great?
He just didn't he didn't have the stupid voice.
Okay, that's a
I
plus.
did love the voice.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
And I thought it was funny when they use the microphone.
Right, yeah.
I feel like that was a joke to the other movies.
Mm-hmm.
How it was super overdubbed and shit.
Yeah. He's I don't think this is working.
All right, so we all thought Batman and Bruce Wayne were on a great level.
They're the best parts of the movie.
We'll circle back around to the negative on that side. I think we all agree that Jeremy Irons as Alfred really surprised us. It's just wow.
Yeah,
great casting.
Yeah.
Great casting. I think we all agree that the first act of this movie was beyond amazing. Like from the first frame.
Yeah,
so
dude, the freaking, Bruce Wayne running through the rubble,
right?
Of all the shit. That
was emotional too.
I was like, man, you're gonna get asthma.
I was like, oh my god,
asthma? Really?
She's there dying.
That would explain why later on he'll have that deep, gruffy voice. He's like, Alfred.
No, but that
he touched my cave.
But just showing, showing for the millionth time, his parents die, and then like Zack Snyder. You give him something, you give him a strict direction. Just show us how they died, and he'll shoot it beautifully.
But you know what? They did it in such a new way, because we saw it as a straight-laced way in Batman Begins and the animated series and all these other incarnations of it. But we never saw it done artistically. And that was done artistically. Yeah. It was like
That's what everything Zack Snyder does, though. Like every frame, he's like, oh my god.
Another great point. We think we are big fans. Well, we're fans of Wonder Woman.
Yes.
Gal Gadot.
Yes. I don't know about big fan, but I'm definitely
right.
That goes to the music, though. I love her
But her whole aura around her was just like
it was breath of fresh air, man.
Right.
Her theme. Her theme kind of reminds me of the X-Men animated series theme. The
yeah. But she wasn't given that much to do.
That's right.
But what she did do, I liked.
All right.
Lasso of truth, guys.
Right,
Lasso of truth.
Any more positives? The music. We all like the music.
I love the music.
Yeah.
Right.
That's all Junkie XL right there.
You throw out some positives.
Cinematography was good.
Yeah, I love
visual effects were of they were quality, but they may have been overused. We may have a disagreement there. Any other positives?
The
fight
scenes, the Batman fight scenes were pretty good.
The Batman
fight that last one, that was really good.
When he went into that warehouse to save Martha Kent, right?
Right.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That was great.
Yeah.
Just because the one thing that they never really show is the brutality. I've never really seen of Batman, and I like that they did do that, because that's my Batman. He always pushes the line, but they stepped over the line, and I'm not a fan of that.
And then this one can be both a positive and a con, because it's a two-edged sword, and this will transition into the negatives here. The internal struggle that was supposed to be in this movie, which they set up nicely. But
they didn't pay it off well.
That's exactly where we're going to go with positive and negative. It's positive that they set up these big questions about what the ideology and philosophy of Superman is. Should there be a Superman? But it doesn't go anywhere. and that's where we get to
what
the
did you
negatives.
say? They rose a lot of questions, but
Yeah,
they didn't pay off a lot of answers or something.
They
shit like
raised a lot of questions, but they never discussed them.
Yeah.
Throughout the movie, that's the thing. You don't need to answer these questions. You need to at least just have a discussion in the movie.
But they went nowhere.
With the audience, and they thought that all they had to do was just literally
It's like,
ask them.
They were rhetorical
that's
questions,
it.
basically.
Yeah.
I mean,
And but like, so like, what are we supposed to tell you? Like,
I mean, honestly, I mean,
They should have like sub captions underneath the movie. Feel here.
Right.
and it's like, and I think they do that. Now that I think about it, they do it to lean on a crutch instead of actually giving Superman a character.
Mm-hmm.
And they do it like, oh, he's a god. And only one time they gave him a good character moment with Lois Lane, and they really showed him.
Yeah, he was
as a human, as a man. Even
he's
though
like,
he isn't one. But
hi, Lois. I was gonna cook. Are you feeling okay? Just
Yeah.
all that stuff. You see him freaking making scrambled freaking eggs and all that shit.
get in the tub with his girlfriend, be
You get-
silly, stuff like that. And
Yeah, that was a nice
great.
moment.
And
That
that's when it started. You go.
Yeah, I mean, I think that what we lack sorely, and this is duly because Zack Snyder, as you pointed out, doesn't like Superman, but it was nice seeing his humanity show.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's like Superman, your humanity is showing, and all that stuff, and that's really good. That's really good for his character because then it's more relatable. And that way, you don't see him as this, as this big entity up in the sky, with a cape and shit. You see him as somebody who is actually relatable, and you see him as somebody who actually has a persona other than I am all and powerful.
They did that once, and then the rest of the movie was just like you said, I am all and powerful. So you got no feeling for who this character was, or really. That's it, just who he was. You really don't feel for him, because all you got for his character was what other people felt he was.
But I want to give the audience here the journey that we went through this movie, because I think for the three of us who we saw it together, the first act, like we mentioned, was really strong. And
you gotta see it at midnight.
And at some point, we were wondering what was the criticisms about this movie. But then it became apparent that pacing was an issue, editing was an issue, and then setup was becoming an issue. It became a crutch, honestly. There was just one setup scene after another setup scene, random scene, dream sequences that made no sense. Then you were constantly asking yourself, where the hell am I? Who are these people?
Who are these people?
Okay.
Why do I care?
And Lois Lane's entire storyline was completely unnecessary.
Too much Lois Lane. That's just what it is.
She really should have taken on the
don't go there.
The Jeremy Irons, his role.
Right.
He doesn't have his own character story, but he's there and you show him interact.
Exactly.
And it really grows Superman.
Kind of like how Gwyneth Paltrow was in Avengers,
I'll
the
go
first
with that.
Avengers movie.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kind of like that.
Okay,
like
now I
that.
get you. No, totally like that.
And we'll see her again in Civil War. So. They confirmed that.
Paltrow?
Yeah.
Oh,
Per Potts, we'll see her back in a cameo. So.
But like the whole thing in the Africa with the terrorists, all of that made zero sense.
And then.
And why they blamed it on Superman? I still don't know.
And then the dream sequence is actually led into another crutch. Is with this movie has to be responsible for Justice League building or universe building, and then we have the whole Mad Max Batman thing. Where
that's cool.
Where Darkseid, is that what his name is? Was currently teased.
With Junkie XL doing the music.
And then you have a dream sequence where the Flash goes back in time and warns the Batman about Lois Lane being the key to everything.
I love how you called him the Batman. That's cool.
Batman.
That's cool.
Well, that's what the name of the movie's going to be called, so might as well get used to it.
The Batman.
Yeah, I can't think of a single dream sequence where I was like, that was necessary.
They were cool, but they
were put in the wrong place.
Cool.
The Flash was like, I mean, it wasn't the best, but
I was talking about the Mad Max thing. That was cool, but it went on for way too long.
Yeah, it did.
Really dumb, unnecessary.
And I honestly could feel mass confusion in the theater.
Yeah, like
when that was going on, like what the fuck am I watching?
The way it was cut, you have no idea, because it's just very random.
It's
There's
choppy.
no transitions.
There's no flow.
It's just drop a scene, drop a scene, drop a scene.
It's very reminiscent of Revenge of the Sith, where you just have these really collection of good scenes, but don't really add up to anything meaningful.
And then,
which drains the movie of its emotional connection overall.
I have a big problem with Batman killing. I do not like it whatsoever. It's not what the character is about, and it's...
If you want to catch more of that, go Red Spotlight. He has a whole speech about that.
I went on a very long tangent.
All right,
Here's the reason why the podcast is
Here's a huge reason. Okay, was this really Batman v Superman, or was this Batman and Superman?
That is the real reason.
That's kind of my big problem.
It's not Batman v Superman. The whole reason for them fighting is so stupid, and it's... the trailers make it think that it's an ideological...
Let's not... Oh, God, the Martha thing.
Martha.
Okay, your mom's name is Martha. My mom's name was Martha. Let's be friends, people.
I was just going to stab you in the heart 2 seconds ago.
Right.
Exactly.
But I've completely switched.
At that point, I was like, okay, this movie just got stupid to a whole new level.
And they didn't need to fight. All Superman had to do was like, wait. Lex Luthor's got my mom. You need to help me.
That's it.
That was it.
That was it.
That was it.
You should have stepped from the side, instead of going through that little Superman Returns shit.
Right.
But he was so dumb. He's like, I gotta tell you something. And then he waits for him to like punch him in the face or something like that.
You see,
like,
honestly, look, this movie was killed by the fact that they had to set up Justice League. I mean, time and time again, Wonder Woman, as good as she was shoehorned in here.
She was completely unnecessary.
I mean, okay.
Doomsday was shoehorned in here.
Completely unnecessary.
And a waste altogether. Because apparently he killed Superman, but then not really. And nobody here bought for 1 second that he was dead.
I mean, shit. I almost, for just how long that funeral scene
went on. God.
Like, oh my goodness.
It was terrible. 17 minutes long. That's how long it felt.
Lex Luthor?
Probably was.
He was an epic fail. No question. Epic fail.
It's just I wanted to love
he may be the biggest fail in the movie, honestly. That never worked for me. From the second he stood on screen, I was physically ill. Yeah. I felt awkward because people around me were just kind of figuring him out. What the hell is this guy's deal?
I spent the whole movie trying to figure him out because I was like, okay, maybe it's going somewhere with his motivation. What is he after? I still don't know what he wants. Like, what did he want? Superman dead. Okay, why? And then he somehow knows Darkseid is coming.
Right.
But then why would he kill all the heroes? I don't know what he wants.
And then, of course, the one thing that completely defines why this movie was not a success, the email scene. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But that scene was just completely not... It shouldn't have been in there.
It just...
But you know what? Maybe for the movie that ended up being, maybe it should have been in there.
It just rubs me the wrong way, though, because it's like... It really shows what they were trying to do. Because they stopped the movie... Look at the trailer for the Justice League. Right. And then, okay, back
and
to
it's
the movie.
so overt. Yeah. Like, she actually...
Would it have been better if Batman opened it?
I was fine with the whole Wonder Woman. He saw her picture.
Yeah,
like,
that would have been
that's fine.
Right.
And that would have set up for the next film. I don't mind that because that's what Marvel does. They set up for the next film.
It may have been better had she not been in the movie and had that email.
Yeah.
And have it as like a teaser for the Wonder Woman movie.
Maybe if she wasn't in it at all.
Right.
And they had shown that a little bit.
See right there.
But one of the saving graces, though, was Wonder Woman.
Of course, we mentioned that, but she wasn't necessary at all to the plot. She was there to have more action sequence. Mm-hmm. And, it's been pointed out to me repeatedly, that second trailer, it showed us the whole movie.
Yeah.
It's exactly what we thought it was going to be.
Mm-hmm. If that second trailer wasn't released, do you think we would have...
Honestly, there still would have been a reaction to Doomsday being in there.
I think
it still would have been worse.
I think it would have been an even worse reaction.
I think so, too.
Because then we wouldn't have even known. People would come out pissed. I was like, I was promised Batman v Superman, and you did this? And it's like, at least I went in knowing, like, okay, like, at least keep my expectations low. I still really want this to be good. And I did enjoy it a lot, but it's just, like, the reviews are kind of right. Like, they're being a little harsh, I think, a little too harsh.
The language is a bit overt.
The language is
and over the top, but they're right on the principle of the matter.
They're right on most of the points.
Ultimately, at the end of the day, while we all have things to enjoy about it, I think the three of us ended up walking away with it. We didn't really like it. I mean, we can't really call it good, but we enjoyed ourselves.
I was entertained.
Why
am I so bad at words? I was entertained.
Benefic. Hello.
I quit life.
Hello, my name is Peter. I don't know how to speak.
But Alexis, you see the problems that we're talking about, but then,
I see it.
But you ended up liking this movie more than any of us.
Yeah.
Well, why? Just very quickly, like what's something that you walked away with?
Finally got like a DC movie after a long time.
But was it what you wanted it to be?
It was what I expected it to be.
So you had your expectations really managed to the point where this one would be kind of...
I mean, this is pretty much what I expected it to be, too.
I think all of us to an extent. This is what we were expecting, but we didn't want it to be. I mean, that's why.
Yeah.
And there were certain little things that also, like Batman killing, that rubbed me the wrong way.
Right.
It's like, that's the best part of the movie, and then that really, whenever that happens, it takes me out
That's
of
never
it.
really addressed.
And it's never addressed at all.
Right.
Like...
All right, couple of final points. Zack Snyder.
I love Zack Snyder, so.
But he's a style over substance director.
He is. You have to really give him a good script and good direction.
Does this excite us or worry us for Justice League? I'm officially worried.
I'm worried. I'm not worried about the DC universe,
but just the movies
guys.
he directs.
Hold on.
But Justice
League. Alexis, are you worried?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, see.
Okay, but we got Wonder Woman movie coming out. I'm actually really excited for the Wonder Woman movie.
Suicide Squad looks pretty good.
Suicide Squad looks amazing.
Right.
And then after that's Justice League. After that, I start to not care.
Right.
But if those movies can really, her face.
Isn't Justice League being split into two movies?
Yeah, but it'd be split.
If part one ends up being an even bigger disappointment, what do you do then?
I'm kind of done.
Still watch the other one.
I'm kind of done. But I'm kind of hoping that Wonder Woman knocks it out of the park, and then I think Suicide Squad will too. And then
is this good?
Suicide Squad. Suicide. Let's enunciate. Suicide Squad.
So I'm hoping they really see what Man of Steel didn't get. People were very split. This movie people were more than split, I think.
Right.
So I really think Zack Snyder's going to direct it. They're not going to take him off, but I really hope they take a step back and say all right, we can't just let this shit fly anymore.
Right.
We really got to focus in. It has to be good. And I think as long as they do that, that's 3 movies in a row. I'm back in.
Well, I mean, we should note that as we're speaking, it was announced that this movie made about $27.7 million Thursday night, which we all went to go see, which we all gave our money to that movie. All right. So
you know what?
Are we all in agreement that it'll land anywhere between 190 to 200 million opening weekend?
I think it might go
or over 200 million.
Over 200.
So between 190 and 210
people love
in that pocket.
But I'm really wondering for the future of DC.
Second weekend.
Oh, it's gonna drop.
Second weekend. How big of a drop? Do you think
over
50% drop second weekend?
Maybe.
Only time will tell, mate.
I think it's likely at this point.
It's likely just based on the way movies are, and looking back on if it doesn't get good reviews, it usually drops below 50%. So I think that's gonna happen.
Ultimately, though, and I think we kind of already know the answer based on our reactions, but I want to go around and get your. Should this be considered a success, a failure, or just a disappointment for DC? I'll start with Alexis. What do you think?
I think it's just in the middle of a success and a failure.
So a disappointment. A slight disappointment or a little bit over disappointment? Underwhelming, you would say?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that this is a basic template for what we're going to get in the future. We have a lot of highlights of what we want to see in the future, what we don't want to see. Right. So I think that this is a testing
Honestly,
ground.
look, as big as the mistakes that were made in this movie, there is still plenty of potential left in the series that they can build off of that, and they can make up for the disappointments that were made in this and Man of Steel. But it's kind of getting to the point where how many more movies is it going to take you guys to actually get the ball rolling on
It's
this?
like Iron Man 2. It was very flawed, but it was entertaining as shit.
I would compare this to the Amazing Spider-Man 2.
A flat out failure for you. A flat out failure.
Mainly because this has the 2 biggest cultural icons in the whole freaking world, Batman and Superman, and the amount of promise and hype and just the love that was supposed to come from this movie, and to really not even come close to that, because there were just so many problems. It wasn't like it was one thing here and one thing there. There was a lot. If it was like he said, if it was just any other superhero, or like you don't really know the superheroes too well, it would just be like, it was bad, it was whatever. But because it's the two biggest superheroes of all time, so misrepresented, that's where it gets me. I know you hate me. I know you hate me.
No, it's
but
fine.
I'm only feeling like this because I really do love these characters. I really do.
I'm not gonna say it's a disaster for them. But I think it's definitely an understatement to call it a disappointment, because we have to put this into consideration that this movie would have been huge for DC. Yeah. Had this been amazing, they could have single-handedly shut Marvel up. Had this been amazing, it didn't live up to what it was supposed to be.
My history teacher, I asked him
before the movie.
I asked him before the movie, Team Superman or Team Batman, and he's like, Team Marvel. And then
he was right.
Okay, Mr.
Well, I mean, you the one. Wait. For the record, you're the one that said. You said, and I quote, Marvel won.
There's one.
Okay.
After walking out of that movie.
3, 4, 5.
I don't like people pitting them to each other, because people are really stupid.
And I'm not one of those people. Just to be clear about that. No, I'm not. I don't pit Marvel and DC against. I wanted this movie to be successful. I truly did.
No, I did.
It should have been great.
And that's the thing. I love DC a lot, and I'm not saying like, oh, the one's better than the other, but movie wise, it's not really an argument, I feel. Right. I'm not saying like comics who has better characters or anything, but movie wise, yeah, they won and they're still winning.
But do they really win? I mean, I'm sure they would have liked for DC to have been successful, because I mean,
I would have loved it.
This would have meant that the comic book industry would have kept going and going and going. And now this kind of puts it in jeopardy to us.
I really thought it was...
You don't think so?
No.
I mean,
I really thought it was gonna be amazing, just based off the movies we've been getting.
Right.
And it's like everyone's been like, oh, it's so good. And
okay, Alexis, what if Suicide Squad and Justice League are disappointments too? Does that put everything else in jeopardy? You don't feel... I mean, it's still going to make money, of course, but ultimately speaking, will it satisfy fans if you have a disappointing film after disappointing film?
I think, like, movie-wise, yeah, I don't think they would make any more of those types of movies. Right. But, like, with everything else, like, I feel like DC is way better than Marvel and everything else.
Right. Well, in terms of characters and storylines, they are. But
no, like... The
TV?
Yeah, TV, the other movies.
Right.
I think they're fine with that. Mm-hmm.
But I mean, look, we sit here today and we've yet to have a decent DC movie. That was not decent, but
of the new DC.
Exactly.
One that was universally said,
right,
this is a great
We've only
movie.
had 2 for the record, only 2, but they've both have been incredibly divisive.
Yeah.
Or divisive.
And I think if DC wants to continue and do great and make money, which is the whole point.
I mean,
they have to have a universally good movie where everyone says,
that's what it has to be.
Love DC, hate DC. That was a good movie.
I feel it's not too late to turn the ship around. That's why I'm not calling it a disaster.
No, it's not.
But they need to start
And I already think they are, though. I think Wonder Woman and Suicide Squad. Okay. I really think that's going to go a long way to turn around a lot of the public perception.
All right, Alexis, what are your final impressions of this movie and your overall score?
Wait, you go first. I forgot what I said.
Okay, I will speak for Alexis. She said she really liked it. And she said if you were a fan of these characters, then you should too. And she gave it a 7 or an 8.
Great memory.
Kyle said it was a beautiful mess.
Mm-hmm.
And he overall gave it a score of a 6, I believe. You said that it was not a complete disaster.
But it was a disappointment.
It was a giant disappointment, and you gave it about a 4.5 out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
And then I said that because of who these characters are,
isn't this great?
It's just such a huge letdown to me. as a fan, I give it a 6 out of 10 just because I care about these characters. But strictly as a movie, it's probably like a 5 out of 10.
Right. That's gonna wrap it up for us in terms of our review for Batman v Superman. I do want to let you know we got a lot more media with this. I know that we've been talking for a long time. Check out Kyle's channel.
That's my forte. Okay, guys, we are gonna have we have an After Dark for BVS. We have
56-minute long.
Which was 59. Okay.
Oh shit.
We have yes,
the After Dark will capture our initial reactions after walking out of the movie, which was a very livid discussion.
And then we also have a Red Spotlight episode 22, where we go in full length into all the unglory of
including Peter's
Batman v BVS, featuring his bitching about Batman killing.
I'll make sure to check out our review, the regular review for Batman and Superman on the Brilliant News Crew channel. Thank you, Alexis, for being here. It's such a pleasure to have you here, traveling all the way along from Red Spotlight.
Really?
Thank you, Alexis, for being here. It's really great to see you, and your opinion was actually pretty monumental in terms of how bitter we were towards the movie. Kyle. Yeah, okay. Peter! Yeah, like any of you had any choice. We had an interesting time, and until next time, I'm Alexis
We had
Soto.
a sexy time.
And until next time, I'm Alexis Soto.
Bye.
The place for all things
And
movie news and reviews.
And this is the Barely News Crew, the place for all things movie news and reviews.
And I can make you weep, cause you could relate to them. Struggle to fall, struggle to fall, struggle to fall.